Welcome to my channel, Wisdom in 7 Minutes. Do not click like or subscribe until you have reached the end of the video and it makes sense to you. We post new videos every week. Now let's get to the business of the day. Why do people fail? A simple yet profound question that we rarely ask ourselves. In the grand tapestry of life, failure is not a matter of if, but when. It's a universal experience, a common thread that binds us all. Yet, it's a topic we often tiptoe around, perhaps because of the discomfort it brings. But today, let's face it head-on and delve into the heart of failure. Consider this. Every great endeavor, every ambitious dream is but a tightrope walk over the chasm of failure. We strive, we struggle, we soar, but sometimes we stumble. And when we do, it's not always because the rope was too thin or the wind too strong. More often than not, our fall is the result of our own missteps. Two major culprits often lead us down this path: overconfidence and lack of attention to detail. It's like walking along a cliff edge blindfolded, certain of our invulnerability, oblivious to the precipice beneath. We take things for granted, we overlook the minutiae, and before we know it, we're spiraling into the abyss of failure. Dietrich Dorner, in his seminal work, The Logic of Failure, beautifully encapsulates this notion. He posits that failure is not just about the external obstacles we encounter, it's also about the internal battles we lose. We fail not because the world is against us, but because we are against ourselves. Whether it's the machinery we design or the life decisions we make, failure often finds its roots in our own actions, our own oversights. But here's the silver lining. Failure is not the end. It's not a pit of despair, but a ladder to growth. It's a teacher, a guide, a stepping stone to success. And to truly understand this, we need to dissect the anatomy of failure, to examine its causes, its effects, and most importantly, its lessons. So, let's embark on this journey together. Let's delve into the heart of failure, explore its labyrinth, and in the process, discover the path to success. Let's dive deeper into the concept of failure by examining the lives of some famous personalities. Overconfidence can be a dangerous trait, leading many to their downfall. Let's take a moment to delve into the story of a once-renowned personality whose overconfidence led to a dramatic tumble from grace. This individual was Icarus, a character from Greek mythology. Although Icarus is a mythical figure, his story serves as a timeless cautionary tale about the hazards of overconfidence. Icarus and his father, Daedalus, were trapped on the island of Crete. To escape, Daedalus crafted 2 pairs of wings out of wax and feathers. Before they took flight, Daedalus warned Icarus not to fly too close to the sun, as the heat would melt the wax. But intoxicated by the thrill of flying, Icarus ignored his father's advice. He soared higher and higher until inevitably the sun's heat melted his wings. Overcome by hubris, Icarus plunged into the sea and drowned. Icarus's overconfidence blinded him to the potential consequences of his actions. He took the incredible gift of flight for granted, disregarding the meticulous craftsmanship that went into creating the wings and the sage advice of his father. His overconfidence led him to ignore the limits of his abilities and the realities of his situation. The result was a tragic and avoidable end. Just like Icarus, many of us fall into the trap of overconfidence. We dismiss potential risks, ignore advice, and underestimate the effort required to achieve our goals. We become so enamored with our abilities and our vision of success that we overlook the potential for failure. This is when overconfidence morphs from a source of motivation to a catalyst for downfall. The story of Icarus illustrates the dangers of overconfidence. It's a reminder that success requires not just talent and ambition, but also humility and a respect for the complexity of our endeavors. We must balance our confidence with a healthy dose of caution, always remaining aware of our limitations and the potential consequences of our actions. As we've seen, overconfidence can be a fast track to failure, but there's another common pitfall we need to be aware of. They say the devil is in the details, and this is especially true when it comes to failure. Just consider the story of Gerald Ratner, a British businessman who took over his family's jewelry business, Ratner's Group, in the early 1980s. He transformed it into the world's largest jewelry retailer by the end of the decade, boasting over 2,000 stores. However, his success story took an unfortunate turn due to a single detail he overlooked. In 1991, Ratner made a speech at the Institute of Directors in which he joked that one of the products sold in his stores was total crap. He further dismissed a decanter set sold in his stores as being cheaper than a prawn sandwich, but unlikely to last as long. This lack of attention to the detail of his words had a catastrophic impact. The speech went viral. Customers deserted Ratner's group in droves, and the company's share price plummeted by around £500 million. Ratner had overlooked the essential detail that his words, as the face of the company, would reflect directly upon the quality of his products. He failed to consider the potential impact of his jokes on his customer base and shareholders. Had he paid more attention to the content of his speech and its possible repercussions, he may have avoided the catastrophic fallout. This story serves as a stark reminder that the smallest details can have the most significant impacts. It underscores the importance of scrutinizing every aspect of our actions, words, and decisions, particularly when we are in positions of responsibility or leadership. Ratner's story is just one example of many where a lack of attention to detail led to failure. It's a potent reminder that details matter, whether they are words in a speech, the fine print in a contract, or the calibration of a piece of equipment. As we've learned, ignoring the details can have disastrous consequences. But how can we use this knowledge to avoid failure? Let's explore that in our next segment. So why do people fail? Overconfidence and lack of attention to detail, as we've seen, can lead to disastrous results. Overconfidence can blind us to our flaws and weaknesses, making us complacent and prone to making mistakes. It can cause us to underestimate challenges and overestimate our capabilities, setting us up for failure. On the other hand, not paying attention to detail can lead us to overlook important factors or elements that can make or break our efforts. It's often the small things that matter most, and failure to recognize this can be our downfall. But here's the silver lining. Failure, as painful as it may be, is an opportunity for learning and growth. It's a chance to reassess, to refine, and to improve. By understanding why we fail and learning from our mistakes, we can turn failure into success. Remember, failure is not the end, but a stepping stone towards success. It's not about avoiding failure, but learning how to rise from it.